Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you again for joining our webinar today, Uncover Hidden Insights and Drive Innovation with Qlik. My name is Megan Boschman, and I am with InOutsource. InOutsource is a Qlik partner, and we'll talk a little bit more about that and what that means in a moment. The bulk of the presentation today will focus on our partner product, Qlik. I will give you some company background on Qlik and provide a demonstration for you of both a guided analytics app and then provide a window into self-service analytics ad hoc reporting with Qlik as well. Before I jump into my Qlik demo, though, for those who are on the line but maybe are not so familiar, I'd like to provide just a quick background on InOutsource. I see that many of you who have joined us today are clients of ours. Some clients, current clients, others maybe haven't been clients for a while and aren't so familiar with how we've kind of grown and evolved as a company. Again, I direct the data analytics practice at InOutsource. For those that aren't familiar, InOutsource is a women-owned consultancy headquartered in Philadelphia. We were launched in 2002. We have approximately 50 employees now. I work out of our quickly growing, rapidly developing Wilmington, North Carolina office. We work exclusively with legal law firms, some corporate legal departments, and we focus very heavily in the AmLaw 100-200 space. Our core services include information governance consulting, business process management. One of the things we're really well known for in the space is our involvement in the NBI and conflicts processes. We do some cost containment work, and then, of course, data analytics, which is what we'll be talking about today. So as it pertains to these services, we can provide consulting support in the form of needs assessment, policy, and procedure development, but we can also provide related technology evaluations. We can help with selection and implementation. We do have a number of formalized partnerships. We are an Intapp partner, a File Trail partner, and then in the analytics space, we formally aligned with Qlik, Alteryx, and Sisense. If you're interested in learning about any of our other services or partnerships, I'd be happy to connect with you after this demonstration and schedule some sort of follow-up. I want to talk a little bit about our analytics offering, though. InOutsource, oh, I'm not sure what just happened there. I apologize. Says we are, oh, okay. InOutsource is committed to working with our law firm clients to deliver practical data solutions to meet our clients' evolving needs. So we can work with your firm to define your enterprise strategy for approaching data analytics. I know a lot of firms are just really starting to venture down this path. Firms have leveraged analytics platforms for years, but it's mostly been in the area of finance or maybe e-discovery when we're looking at maybe some text analytics. There's not typically been an enterprise strategy to approaching the data. We can also assist with data cleanup, data prep, data architecture. We have an extensive knowledge of legal data sources across our team. We can produce and deliver data visualizations and reports, which is what most people commonly think of when they think of analytics. We can also provide guidance with advanced analytics and data science as your strategy matures. Again, we offer custom solutions that are built exclusively to meet the needs of your law firm. And our skilled team of practitioners can implement analytics technology for you. We try to ensure that we configure platforms, administer security, develop strategy, and work with providers that enable you to roll out your analytics tools, your reporting, your dashboards in a way that is compliant with your IG policy. At the end of the day, we provide project management, oversight, and we work to make sure that every project is delivered on budget. We offer flexible support and ongoing options for training, again, support, maintenance, updates as well. When you're evaluating analytics tools One of the things to keep in mind is flexibility. So, over the last couple of years, we see more and more law firms committing to an analytics strategy, looking at or evaluating analytics platforms, analytics tools. A number of solutions or products have popped up in the legal industry. We've seen a lot of legal industry-specific technology. While I think these products are fantastic and they've helped a lot of firms kind of get their start with monitoring their data and kind of driving decisions, leveraging data, these are tools from my perspective. They are not platforms. They address a pinpoint need, and oftentimes they're reactionary. So they come with a set of out-of-the-box use cases that only benefit 1 to 2 departments. And they've been developed to fix a problem or set of problems. This is great when we're thinking about that problem or set of problems, but long-term, I think it stifles creativity and data discovery. So our partner products, and when I'm talking today, I'll be talking about Qlik specifically, support more than just one use case. Qlik supports guided analytics, self-service ad hoc reporting, embedded analytics, custom web applications, and the automation and distribution of static reports. It's much more than data visualization. Qlik is data source agnostic. So what this does is it allows us to build out, again, practical solutions that meet the individualistic needs of our law firm clients. So while we can build out attorney dashboards, profitability dashboards, we can also be more creative in the apps that we develop, and we can support client service, competitive intelligence. One of the use cases that we see come up over and over again is this idea of a litigation alerts app. Law firms receive data from third-party providers like Bloomberg, Lexis, Westlaw all of the time. And oftentimes they've dedicated someone internally to manually reviewing those alerts. Those alerts, you receive many of those alerts, maybe 300-400 emails a day. And someone in the firm, in many firms, is responsible or tasked with reviewing these alerts and comparing them against the existing client base to look for opportunities to proactively develop business with an existing client or a top client. We can streamline this process and marry that data in Qlik to help you to identify or manage those alerts. Again, we can develop dashboards, applications, reporting for all of your departments. So let's talk a little bit about Qlik. Qlik was founded in Lund, Sweden. They are now headquartered in Radnor, PA. And as an 8-time Gartner Magic Quadrant leader for analytics and BI platforms, Qlik has repeatedly demonstrated a strong record of accomplishment. As of now, Qlik supports over 45,000 customers with over 1,700 partners. That's a lot of partners and a lot of customers. We are proud to say, though, that we are currently Qlik's only partner focused exclusively on the legal vertical. So they bring the best-in-class technology, and we bring industry expertise. We know law firm data sources in and out. We understand your pain. We understand your challenges. We are also proud to say that about 2 weeks ago, InOutsource was named New Qlik Partner of the Year for North America. Qlik has a global reach, so this is critical to me. When we evaluated solutions or platforms, we wanted to know that the product or the vendor could support our clients globally. And with clients in more than 100 countries and more than 2,500 employees, Qlik can support a global law firm. Here is just a few of Qlik's customers. You can actually go out to their website and search for individual companies. Again, Qlik has more than 45,000 customers, and these are just a few. But what I want to talk about is the fact that Qlik has the best customers. So Qlik has 7 of the 10 largest global retail and wholesale companies. Qlik has 10 of the 10 largest global pharma companies, 10 of the 10 largest global biotech, 9 of the 10 major global banks are all using Qlik. What I'm trying to convey is your clients are using Qlik. So law firms, as they get up to speed with analytics, as they begin to embrace analytics, as they begin to utilize analytics in every decision they make, we need a strong platform approach. And Qlik has that strong platform approach, and that's why your clients are purchasing Qlik and using it throughout their enterprise. So let's talk about what makes Qlik unique. And we are just a few slides away from that demonstration. Qlik is different. So you see Qlik up there in the quadrant with Tableau, Power BI. Tableau and Power BI, they present beautiful visualizations. But Qlik is so much more than beautiful visualizations. Qlik is data source agnostic. Qlik has an associative engine that allows you to associate data from these many data sources. The Qlik associative engine, it is not SQL-based. It is something that is unique and patented to Qlik. It is designed specifically for interactive free-form analysis. So it fully combines large numbers of data sources and indexes them to find all possible associations. And this will make more sense when I get into the demo. But what this does is it allows you to not leave any particular data point behind. It also gives you the flexibility to avoid predefining relationships or hierarchies and allows you to freely probe or explore all possible relationships within your data. The associative in-memory analytics engine is also designed for very fast, flexible analysis. So it allows you to accommodate large volumes of data, large volumes of users. What Qlik actually does is it compresses the data to about 1/10 of the size. This results in cheaper storage and lower total cost of ownership. So when compared to its competitors, Qlik actually has one of the absolute lowest 5-year total cost of ownership. Also contributing to that is Qlik's native ETL layer. So we do not need a dedicated data warehouse with Qlik to make Qlik work, to support Qlik. We can leverage one if you have one in place today, but we can also connect directly to our data sources. And this is critical, this is important, because as law firms begin to kind of expand and grow their strategies, they're going to be looking to leverage more than just the financial system. If you have 2, 3, 50, 60 data sources supporting a particular application, Qlik can accommodate that. Those relationships can be created in Qlik, in Qlik's innate native ETL layer. Qlik has a centralized hub for monitoring data governance and security. This is also something that is unique to Qlik. This is one of the biggest drivers for InOutsource in terms of selecting Qlik as a partner. As a company that has always impressed upon our clients the importance of data governance and security, it was critical to us that we didn't lose that message when we partnered with an analytics vendor. You'd be hard-pressed to find anyone else in the industry that is, making data governance and security as seamless, as easy as Qlik is. Qlik's a one-time build for all users and devices. It's mobile first. And then Qlik has open APIs, which make it extendable and embeddable. You can extend the product. We'll talk a little bit about that in a few minutes. And you can embed the visualizations anywhere in existing places that your attorneys, your clients go today. At the end of the day, Qlik is a platform. So Qlik allows its customers to address the full breadth of their analytic needs across the entire organization and beyond. You can actually extend visuals, analytics out to your clients as well. Client-facing dashboards are a great way to leverage the Qlik platform. Qlik today, for the most part, will be looking at guided analytics. I will show you self-service data visualization. We'll talk a little bit about reporting and collaboration. I've attached some collateral to this presentation on Qlik's end printing product, which can be used for automation and distribution of static reports. Qlik visuals can be embedded anywhere. So if you speak to a Qlik sales rep, they'll tell you that they don't leave Salesforce. All of the visualizations that they need have been embedded in Salesforce. Well, Salesforce has visualizations, so why do we need Qlik? Well, the difference is the Qlik visualizations in Salesforce could be pulling from a number of other locations. They're not just pulling from Salesforce. Maybe they're pulling from, Qlik's system that they use to monitor expenses, so that they can look at, not only how many times have I called this client, but what have I spent on the business development process. So with that, I will jump into the demonstration, and if you just give me a second here, I will switch gears. One of the things I will say, I'll take a pause for a moment and just remind everyone that there is a chat box There is the ability to ask questions. If you ask questions or chat in, I will do my best to address, pause, and answer any of those questions, whatever they may be. All right, so now I am in Qlik. This is my Qlik Sense hub. You can see that I am user Mboshaman up here, and I have logged in, and I have access to everything that I have been given access to on this account. I have a personal work stream where I can create new apps, do some ad hoc analysis. Maybe I received a spreadsheet that I'd like to pull into Qlik and quickly analyze. But I also have some streams down here below. So streams are kind of the highest level of governance within Qlik. Streams can be thought of as folders. Here in my demo account, I actually only have access to 2 streams. The stream that I'll be operating from today is my demo production stream. If I was logged in on my internal account, however, I would see probably 15, 16 streams. Streams for internal apps, streams for our financial apps, streams for our marketing and BD apps. In your firm, you may have a financial stream, you may have a marketing and biz dev stream, an HR stream, again, an everyone stream. These streams can contain any number of applications. Once you own Qlik, Qlik is yours. You can develop as many applications as you would like. And the content within these applications is entirely up to you. Today, we'll be focusing on and taking a look at a law firm financial application. I'll go ahead and click on this application and open it up. Now, in Qlik, we build applications, not necessarily dashboards. These applications typically focus around a particular use case. So again, this one contains financial data. And within my application, I have about 13 linked sheets here. These sheets, more commonly known as dashboards, break that financial data down into meaningful bite-sized chunks. Typically, we start at a very high level with some top KPI, and then we move across to different kind of subject areas. We'll look at today that top level KPI in our executive dashboard, and then we'll move to fee generation, billing generation, realization, and so on, until we get to basically a details table that looks more like Excel and contains our most granular data set. So go ahead and open up this dashboard. This dashboard is very basic. What this dashboard contains are a number of key performance indicators. This was actually built as a proof of concept for another firm, and these were the key performance indicators that were most critical to them. So here we see fees billed, collected, write-downs, and write-offs. We see a comparison to last year, both our variance and the actual dollar amount that we did last year for those key performance indicators. We don't see any list boxes, we don't see any filters or any major visualizations. Here, we're just looking at this data for the entire firm. Now, say I am the CFO and I have access to the data for the firm as a whole. I can see everything. But today I come in and I want to focus on a particular department. Yes, I can move to another sheet and make a selection on that department. But one of the things that we have that is unique to Qlik is this global smart search up here. The smart search allows us to search our entire data set, our entire application. So as the CFO today, I'm coming in and I just want to grab a pulse on what's going on in my commercial litigation department. I can go ahead and begin to type commercial litigation. Now you'll notice that I have not finished typing, but Qlik is suggesting that commercial litigation is in fact what I am looking for. They're doing that up here in the text. They're also prompting me here to explore my entire application, and they're showing me visuals and list boxes, tables, that contain data that is associated with that search I am conducting. Also, down below, Qlik is prompting me to apply a selection. So I'm going to come here and apply the selection for commercial litigation. And you'll see that all of my KPI, and you may not have even seen it, it is very quick, updated in a fraction of a second. So I'm going to move to my next sheet. Now I'm focused on fee generation. I do still have some KPI off to the left, but I'm focused on fee generation as it applies to my selection of commercial litigation. I have filtered down, and I did that initially with my smart search. There are a number of ways, though, that you can filter and limit your data when exploring Qlik. So first, I did it with that global smart search, but perhaps I do want to interact with a traditional list box. I can come up here to year, and I can say, yes, I'm still interested in commercial litigation, but now I just want to see the last 3 years. I can go ahead and make that selection on the most recent 3 years. And now we are looking at fee generation for our law firm as it applies to commercial litigation in years 2014 through 2016. I can come down here and further limit this selection by zeroing in on the attorneys with the highest fee generation. Perhaps we want to see the top 5. I'll go ahead and make a selection there. Qlik is very easy to work with. It's very intuitive. All of the visuals come linked out of the box. We can approach our analysis within Qlik from whatever direction it is most logical for us to probe at the data that day. So I did select commercial litigation, this date range, and these 5 billing attorneys. But perhaps I want to remove the selections for commercial litigation and year. Now I can see data as it applies to these 5 billing attorneys over all time. And I can move to the next sheet to see not only what did these attorneys work, but what did they bill out in terms of fees. I can remove this selection and just look again at the data set as a whole. All of the visualizations are fully expandable. So if your eyes don't want to look at that tiny box, we can blow it up and look at the full screen. Here we're looking at a scatter plot. Scatter plots are great visualizations, and we're looking at billing generation versus bill ratio comparison by attorney. We have the bubble size and the color indicating the total fees collected. On our y-axis over here, we're looking at bill ratio, and down below, we're looking at the billed amount total. We've also created a range here that shows us optimal and acceptable levels for bill ratio. So maybe I want to look at people that fall below that acceptable level. I can go ahead and drag my cursor down and select everyone below the 50% range. I check the box. And maybe I just want to see those down here in the corner that are performing poorly. I can grab this lasso tool and select this irregular data set. Now I close this box, and again, I am focusing on those who are maybe below that acceptable bill ratio range. I can continue to follow that selection throughout my application. So how do you share insights in Qlik? Maybe you have come to a particular conclusion and you want to share it out with a group of users. Well, there's a number of ways to do that. One way we can do that is take some actual snapshots of our visualizations. And we can create what's called a storyboard. So I'll go ahead and create a story. Qlik's storyboarding feature is like PowerPoint on steroids. So anything we can do in PowerPoint, we can basically do in Qlik. We can add a title. We can add a paragraph with some supporting text. We can add media files, images, or we can add visualization, snapshot in time images from our application to tell a story with the data. So we just took these pictures, and I'll go ahead and drag them onto the screen. So now we have this story in progress that we can present at a meeting. Again, these are the snapshot in time images that I've just taken. But maybe I don't want snapshot in time images. Maybe I want to see real life data about fee realization, but still maintain the selections I've applied. I can come in here and I can select and embed full sheets within my storyboard. Here, again, we'll work with fee realization. And if I create this presentation on a Thursday and my meeting is not until Monday morning, I know that when I log in here to my presentation, I will have available to me the most up-to-date metrics. I'll also slide this dashboard over to the right here and leave some room where we can create a paragraph that kind of tells, again, or narrates the story about the text. I'm going to come up here and kind of preview this presentation I've just created. Again, we have this overview that we're communicating out our insights to the organization. And we're going into this meeting with the goal of answering a few questions. Now, we're in the meeting and someone says, I disagree. Well, what do you do at that point? Well, in a typical meeting format, you say, all right, let me circle back with you in a couple of days. I need to go do some further research. When we are presenting from a Qlik storyboard, if someone disagrees with how we came to a particular conclusion, we can actually take them back to the data. We can right-click any of these visuals or snapshot in time images, and we can go out to the source. And we can explain to them what is going on. We can explain to them from this sheet that we've pulled the visuals from, or maybe they require a greater level of detail, we can move over to one of our detail sheets. Once the question has been answered, we can return to the presentation. This is the full interactive sheet around fee realization, as I said, that will contain the most up-to-date information that we've embedded here. The difference between this sheet and the one on the previous page, other than having the most recent up-to-date data, is that this is fully interactive. So we could go into this meeting and perhaps users say, well, this is great, but you know, I really care about what happened in December. That month looks like a real abnormality. We can go ahead and make that selection and focus exclusively on December. So this is just one of those unique added features that you will only find in Qlik. It adds huge value. We use it a ton internally, both for our presentations out to clients, but also for our own internal presentations. At the end of a meeting, you can share this. If your user does not have Qlik, you can export the story out to a PowerPoint or a PDF, and now they have this kind of copy of your presentation, your work. I'm going to go ahead and move back out to the application though, and finish kind of going through this guided app. We'll remove all of our selections, and we'll just continue to kind of click through. Here we're looking at expected fees. This chart looks at revenue loss. We're looking at the combination of write-downs and write-offs. We can focus more granularly on write-downs or write-offs in particular. I did show sharing insights via the storyboard, but it's important to note that insights can also be shared by exporting these visuals out to image files, PDFs. We can export the underlying data. So if I go ahead and hit export data, I'll actually get an Excel spreadsheet that shows me the supporting data set for that visualization. At the end of the day, we hope that you get to the point where all of your users are working within Qlik and you're sharing your insights there through, bookmarks and kind of collaborative communication and use of this interactive platform. Right. This is one of my favorite features. Anyone in kind of IT or finance knows that the ad hoc reporting requests that are put on finance are incessant. They're constant. They can be distracting. Everyone wants to see their custom report a little bit differently. What we can do is we can give your end users the ability to build their own kind of custom tables and reports. So here I have this custom report builder, and I simply interact with it by clicking the number of dimensions and measures that I want to see populate the page. So maybe today I'm coming in and I'm interested in seeing all matters by department. And for those matters, I want to see the fees generated, billed, and collected. I've created this nice report for myself. I can sort it however it makes most sense to me. Maybe I want to see it by fees collected. I can also filter or narrow down on this data set. Perhaps I've created this report for myself, but I really wanted to limit it to a number of departments. I'll look at commercial litigation, general litigation, and global insurance. I've limited that selection. I can work within here. I can answer my questions by working again within the Qlik application, but I can also export this out to Excel. We can also build out details or straight tables built around a particular need. Maybe you know that everyone is going to be looking at these dimensions across these measures. We can have that here for you. And again, as you start in the kind of more visual component of the application and you do your kind of data discovery, your probing, those selections follow you along. So, you know, I've selected those attorneys, I've focused in on a particular date range, now I can see the supporting detail. When we show straight tables, people often ask, well, can you do pivot tables? Everyone loves pivot tables, especially if you're coming from an Excel world. We can absolutely do pivot tables. Pivot tables in Qlik are great. So here I've got my dimensions set up. I'm looking at the trajectory, that is department, billing attorney, client name, matter description, timekeeper, and I can expand those selections. And I can see them across these measures, but at any point, if I want that trajectory to change, maybe I want to see my report by client name, it's just a simple, you know, it's the process of just dragging that client name first. We can also bring department over here, and we can look at by client, how much work did they do, or how many fees did they generate across each of the departments. So this is basically in short, a guided application in Qlik. Here we've determined about 90% of what our end users' needs will be. We've published this application out to them, to an audience of folks that they can work with it and kind of do their own probing, answer their questions, keep tabs on their metrics. But we do have the ability to enable what's called governed self-service as well. Before I jump into governed self-service, though, I do notice that we have a question. Question being, can Qlik be deployed on-prem or is it cloud only? With Qlik, Qlik gives you the option to choose. So they provide a Qlik server and you can deploy that on-prem, you can throw that up on AWS, Azure. Qlik is also developing out a fully hosted offering as well. So you have a ton of flexibility. We'll work within the constraints of your own internal policies. So at this time, what I want to do is demonstrate for you governed self-service. So there is an underlying data model that is supporting this app. For this particular application, the data is primarily coming from Elite. That data model has been built. We've built out several visualizations to support our need. But as an end user, you may have other visual needs coming from that same data set. So what we've given our users is access to a safe sandbox where they can build their own visualizations. This is something that is unique to Qlik. When I hit create a new sheet, it showed up in the My Sheet section. This sheet that I am created is always going to be there for me when I log into Qlik. I'm not going to make any changes to the organization's application. Now, if I find something in my kind of development that is fantastic that others would benefit from, I can speak to kind of my content admin that we've kind of designated internally, and we can talk about publishing that out to a larger group. But until that's done, it's my sheet to work with. So I've hit Create New Sheet, and with Qlik visualization, data kind of visualization creation is drag and drop. So I have a number of charts that I can work with out of the box. I have my custom objects, which are the custom extensions that we have loaded into our environment. Again, as I said, Qlik is extendable. So if they don't have the visualization you want out of the box, there are a lot of places you can go to download and create your own visualization. And then we have our master items library. So our master items library contains our dimensions that we have published out for end users to use. Some governed measures, so we have made available to them metrics like bill ratio. And the difference between this and letting those users kind of do those calculations themselves is we know that we've created that bill ratio measure in a way that is accurate and tested and approved within the organization. So what I'll do is I'll actually drag that bill ratio measure onto the screen. Qlik's cognitive engine is telling me that that bill ratio measure is best visualized as a gauge. But if I prefer to see that bill ratio gauge or measure as a KPI, it's just a matter of dragging that KPI visual onto the page and hitting convert. Perhaps I want to see that as a percentage. I can go ahead and easily format that visual. All right. So maybe now we want to see what is our fees collected. Again, it does or tells us that that is, we've just dragged a measure on, best visualized as a KPI. But I want to see that fees collected by department. I drag department on and Qlik converts this to a column chart. Again, I can make manipulations. I can toggle this assistance on and off. Perhaps I want to see that as a horizontal bar chart instead. I'll throw one more up there and I'll show you that Qlik does kind of come linked, all of the visuals, again, as I said earlier, out of the box. So maybe we'll look at bill ratio again, but perhaps this time we want to see bill ratio by billing attorney. We can go ahead and drag that on and see their ratio. Very simple charts, nothing to kind of write home about. I'll build some more for you in a moment here. But the important thing to note is that these visuals are linked out of the box. So if I narrow my selection on just these few departments, you'll see that the visuals shown change. Maybe I just want to look at commercial litigation. Now I'm only looking at the bill ratio for commercial litigation and these billing attorneys. Okay. So go ahead and pause for a moment. I am going to switch gears and show you how to build and bring data in from scratch. While I'm doing that, I hope everyone can be coming up with some good questions for me. All right, so nothing in the chat box yet. What we're going to do now is we're going to build from scratch. We're going to create a new app and bring in some data. So to create a new app, I go up here to my work stream. I hit Create New App. Qlik makes this all pretty easy for me. We'll go ahead and call this ILTA Webinar. We'll hit Create and open up that application. Qlik's going to present me now with two options. It's going to prompt me to log back in. Apparently I've been logged in for too long. Go ahead and hit sign in. All right. Qlik is going to present me with two options. It's going to prompt me to add data from files and other sources. It's also going to give me the option to work from the script editor. We're going to work from this option right here, add files from data and other sources. Once we do this, we have a number of options for importing data. We can attach files here. We can drag and drop files, kind of talking about Excel maybe, CSV, text files. We can also do some manual entries. So if you have a simple reference table that you want to create, maybe that data only changes once a year, it's not something you have kind of innate in any of your systems, you can go ahead and create that simple table. Or we can leverage one of Qlik's connectors. Qlik has many connectors. This is just a limited list of the full library. You can find their full list of connectors on their website. And if anyone wants that link, I'll go ahead and share that with you. Typically, our clients most often leverage just a few of these connectors. The Microsoft SQL Server connector is a common one. OLADB is what we often use to connect to Elite or 3E or Adirant. And then again, we work a lot with this custom REST API connector, but there are a ton of other connections that you can utilize as well. You are not limited to what you see here. To create a connection, it's relatively, again, simple, straightforward. I'll go ahead and open this Microsoft SQL Server one. You just hit the kind of server name, the port, the database. You put the login credentials and hit create. I will leverage a existing connection right now. So I'm going to click my Microsoft SQL Server connection I have here. I'm going to work with a simple data set, the Northwind database. It's already been selected for me because I have configured this connection in the past. I select my owner. And now I can see all of the tables in the database. We talk a lot about this smart search. I've got the smart search here. I have the smart search all throughout my app, but I also have the smart search on the back end here. In the Qlik management console, where you manage things like reloads and users and kind of administration of content and streams, we also have that smart search available there as well. And it is something that you become as a Qlik user so reliant on. So I can use this smart search to look for the tables that I want to bring in. Maybe I'm looking for customers. I can go ahead and begin to type customers, and I find my customer table or any table with the word customers pop up. I can also just go down the list here and select the tables I want to bring in. So I'm going to bring in customers, employees. I'll bring in order details, orders, and products. Perhaps I want to take a quick look at my tables, maybe to see if I need it or not. Maybe I'm not sure if I want to bring in shippers. I just go ahead and click on shippers, and it gives me a quick preview of that table. So I'm not going to bring the shippers table in. I'm happy with the 5 I have. And for now, I'm going to hit add data. If I realize at any point that I want to bring additional tables or data sets in, you can always go back. But we're going to go ahead and start with these 5 tables. Now I can see with these bubbles here, visually, all of the tables that I've selected. The bubble size, the larger the bubble, the more the data that we have. At this time, none of the tables are linked. However, off to the right here, Qlik has found 4 associations across these 5 tables. I can apply my associations individually. Maybe I want to go ahead and hit apply on this association down here where order details table is being associated with the orders table on order ID. Or I can come up here and preview all of the associations. And maybe I want to go ahead and move forward with those associations. I go ahead and hit apply all. So what Qlik does first and foremost is it's looking for columns with like headers. But if you don't have like headers, Qlik's going to kind of go down into those rows and columns and profile the data and look to see if there are associations. So now I've hit apply. Maybe I want to probe further into these connections. Let's take a look at the kind of the customers and the orders table. To do so, I just clicked right here in the middle on that connection, and it shows me that the tables are connected on customer ID. Now this is correct. This is what we want to be connected on, but perhaps it wasn't, or perhaps I wanted to change that connection. all I have to do here is click on customer ID, and Qlik will show me other potential associations. So I could maybe switch that kind of association or connection and connect on postal code if it made sense to do so, or address, customer address and shipping address. None of those really make sense to me, so I am going to stick with customer ID. The other important thing to note, however, is if Qlik does not present the option that you want, you can go in here and click the custom association, and we can select drop down something from each table. Okay. We'll stick with this customer association. Okay. So what if our data needs some cleanup, some parsing, or maybe we need to create a custom field? We can do that as well before moving out to the front end. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at my tables. I'm going to edit one of my tables. I'll jump right into this order details table here. And I'm going to actually add a field. I'm going to create a calculated field. All calculations with Qlik can be done on the front end, so there is no need to kind of pre-aggregate or create calculations before we kind of move out to that front end data visualization component. But if we'd like to if we have a calculation we're going to rely on often, we can go ahead and set that calculation. So I'll go ahead and give it a name. I'm going to call this my total sales field. And this field is going to be, for me, the product of unit price and quantity. So I'll go ahead and select those two fields, toss an asterisk in here, and hit create. And easy as pie, we have created this total sales field. I'm also going to create some buckets for this total sales amount field. So I'm highlighting this total sales amount field here, and I'm going to continue to work with it. And I'm going to create 3 buckets. I'm going to call these buckets small, medium, and large orders. So for my first bucket, I want my small orders to be anything that is equal to or less than $750. I'll go ahead and set that. For my middle bucket, I'll do anything that is, $750 to $1,500, and anything over this we'll call large orders, and we'll just leave that at 1,500 plus. I think we forgot to name this one here. So now I've got 3 buckets, one for small orders, medium, and large orders, and we can see that the bulk of our orders fall below that 750 range. We'll go ahead and hit create buckets, and we'll have these fields to reference later. Go ahead and hit create. All right. So now I've worked with my data a little bit. I've played around with the connections. I'm happy with it. I'm going to go ahead and hit load data and bring this data into memory. Once I bring this data into memory, I can immediately begin working with it. So that data's been loaded. I'm going to go out and edit my sheet. So this looks a lot like where I had you before in that kind of governed self-service view, except now we're working with this data set that we've created or just brought in. Once again, Qlik's cognitive engine is going to make some recommendations for me. I still have this smart search up here. So I'm going to grab this total sales field that we created on the back end. Qlik's going to automatically assume that I want to see it as a KPI. It's also going to automatically assume that I want to see that data summed. If I wanted to see what the average total sale was, it would be very easy for me to change or update that. But for now, I'm going to look at this sum of total sales, and I'm going to actually name this field revenue. And I do want to see it as money. We'll go ahead and put this at the top here. And we'll create another visualization. Next, I'm going to drag on these buckets that we created. Because we're only working with a dimension here, Qlik puts those buckets in a table. We need a measure to build, out a more of a kind of a chart. So we'll drag that total sales on, and now we're seeing those total sales or that revenue by bucket. I'm going to toggle my assistance off. I'd rather see this table presented a little bit differently. And we'll go ahead and sort the data because I want to see it by revenue with the largest bucket at the top. All right, so next we'll work with total sales again, but this time maybe I want to see it by city, customer city. So we'll select customer city, and Qlik will create for me a nice map showing me which cities, we're doing the greatest volume of sales. All right, let's do it one last time, again with total sales. But let's look at it this time by order date. Go by order date. And let's say we want to see year, month. All right, and we'll just change this chart up a little bit. We'll make it an area chart. We'll show some data points. Maybe we want to toggle on value labels. And we have very quickly created this dashboard. Now I could spend a great deal of time making it prettier, kind of messing with the grid lines, the labels, the color scheme. Qlik has many color schemes and themes available. But again, we've brought this data in very simply. And these visuals we created very quickly. They are linked out of the box. So now maybe I just want to focus on our large orders. I can go ahead and look at our revenue for large orders by region and over time. So this is just a quick window into kind of building with Qlik. We looked at a guided app in Qlik. We looked at governed self-service, and here we looked at this kind of app creation. The functions available, the Qlik experience is vast. There is a lot more that I could show you, a lot more detail that I could go into, but we are running out of time today. I have attached some collateral. Again, if you go to kind of your command center for GoToWebinar, I suggest that you pull that collateral down, look through it. If you liked what you saw today, please connect with me. We'll go more in depth with a demo. We build out free POC for our clients. So if you have a use case in mind, even if it's just a hunch, we'll talk through it with you and we'll let you know if Qlik is the right fit. Again, as I said, the functionality within Qlik is very vast. But our Qlik customers in the legal vertical, they're growing and they're growing quickly because it is truly a platform that you can grow with. So again, thank you for joining me today. I will go ahead and follow up with each and every one of you, but I encourage you to go out, do your own research, and connect with me so that I can better understand how Qlik might help in your organization. Thanks again. Have a great weekend.